Am I the whole for asking my disabled wife to get a job? My wife and I have been together for nearly 10 years now. Our anniversary is coming up soon, and for the vast majority of our relationship, 95% give or take. She hasn't held a traditional job. She's a licensed hairstylist and occasionally takes a client here or there, mostly just enough to buy her own gas or afford her medical weed. And for most of those years, I've been fine with that arrangement. She deals with chronic physical and mental health issues, including severe pain that stems from a largely sedentary lifestyle, and she's been in physical therapy on and off for years. There has been progress, but we're still not at a place where she's self-sufficient. I never entered this marriage expecting a 50-50 split financially. I knew I'd be carrying the lion's share, and I accepted that. I still do. But over the last few years, things have gotten bad. Like, seriously bad. Almost 3 years ago, I lost a significant portion of my income. We were on the brink of losing the house and both cars. In response, I picked up 2 jobs. For a long time, I was working over 100 hours a week just to keep our heads above water. I was barely sleeping. I was constantly exhausted. I stopped seeing my friends, stopped having hobbies, stopped doing anything but working and surviving. These days, things have slightly improved, and I'm down to around 60 hours a week, but the exhaustion hasn't gone away. On top of that, I'm the one doing all the grocery shopping, all the cooking, which, to be fair, I do enjoy, and most of the dishes. She takes care of the rest of the cleaning, aside from the kitchen, and sometimes she's able to do more, sometimes less, depending on how her body and mental state are doing that week. I also drive our teenager around for school, appointments, everything, because she can't always drive safely. Some days she's too drowsy, disoriented, or in too much pain. And again, I don't resent her for this. But I'm just maxed out. And I don't know how much more I can carry. We've had a spare room in our house for a while, and twice now we've let friends stay with us in emergency situations. These weren't charity cases. Both of them paid a modest amount of rent, which helped us a lot. Each roommate's contribution was about the equivalent of a whole weekend of extra work for me. That meant the difference between having our electricity shut off or not. Literally. The thing is, my wife couldn't get along with either of them. With each roommate, things started fine, and then slowly descended into a spiral. At first it would be small complaints. They left a dish out, or they parked too far to one side of the driveway. But soon those complaints escalated into accusations of emotional abuse. She became obsessed with every interaction. She began venting about them constantly, telling friends and even our kid that she didn't feel safe in her own home, that the roommates were toxic or manipulative or disrespectful. In the end, both roommates moved out, understandably, and both of them told me separately that they had no issue with me, only that things became unbearable with her. Fast forward to last week, our most recent roommate moved out. My wife is thrilled. She's happier than I've seen her in months. She's told me how at peace she feels and how wonderful it is to have the house to herself again. And I'm panicking, because that roommate's rent? It was the only thing keeping me from having to go back to 100-hour work weeks. I finally told her this. I explained how much of a difference that extra rent made. I told her I physically can't sustain this level of output much longer. That maybe it was time for her to consider picking up a very part-time job, something light, flexible, where she could sit down. Just 10 to 20 hours a week. Enough to cover the gap. She sobbed. She hasn't had a formal job in 9 years, and the idea of returning to work, even for just 10 hours, sent her into a spiral. She asked through tears, "So you expect me to be abused in my own home just because they're paying rent? What if they were hitting me? Is my emotional safety not a priority to you, as my husband?" I tried to explain gently that this wasn't about safety or abuse, that this was about survival, that we are dangerously close to not making it financially, that her feelings do matter, but so does the reality that bills need to be paid. She told me she's afraid. Afraid that even if she does all the things I'm asking, sees specialists for her chronic pain, treats her sleep problems, she might have narcolepsy, gets dental care, works through trauma and therapy, it still might not be enough. That she'll still fall short, still disappoint me, still be a burden. She asked me, "What will ever be enough for you?" And that broke me, because the truth is, I don't know. I don't want her to work through pain. I don't want her to force herself into some grueling job she can't manage. What I do want is for her to really try to take care of herself. Not just for me, but for her. Because right now, I feel like I'm taking care of all 3 of us. Me, her, and our kid. And I'm barely keeping it together. She resents me for not defending her when the roommate conflicts happened. I'll be honest. Confrontation is not my strong suit. I'm in therapy now, learning to express myself and stand up for my needs. But for years, I put my feelings last. I bottled them up so I could prioritize hers. And now I'm running on empty. I asked her to try a part-time job. I asked her to help with our shared burden in the only way I can think of that might lighten my load, not even permanently, just enough to give me a breather. She cried and said she felt like I'd stopped caring about her needs. That all I see now is what she can't do. I told her I do care. I care so much that it's destroying me. So, am I the a-hole for asking her to work a few hours a week when she says she physically and emotionally can't?